A man who says he was sexually abused by his teacher for 5 years has told a court he waited until both his parents were dead before coming forward because he didn't want them to feel guilty. He's giving evidence at the Manukau District Court, where his former teacher is on trial for the historic sex abuse at one of the country's most prestigious schools. Our Auckland Court reporter Edward Gay has been inside the closed courtroom listening to the evidence. Hi Eddie, welcome back to Checkpoint. The man talked about having two lives.
Yeah, that's right. Good evening, John. He spoke of longing for normality while at the same time hoping that everything was going to be okay and worrying that someone would find out about what was going on. The man said he knew what was happening was wrong and he tried to break off this relationship several times. He said initially when it first started, he was getting tuition once a week, but that changed to seeing the teacher daily after the teacher began touching him sexually. He said the teacher would build up his confidence, telling him that he was special, and at the time he didn't have many friends. He said the sexual abuse would happen in the teacher's office and at the teacher's home, and some of the abuse also happened in the attic space above the teacher's office, and that required both the teacher and the student to climb on top of a chair on the teacher's desk and pull themselves into the attic.
He eventually told a girlfriend, Eddie, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. After he finished up at school, he began a relationship with a young woman in his church group, and he told her what his teacher had done to him. The man said his then-girlfriend wrote an anonymous letter to the school, and he only found out about that letter when he got a call from the teacher's wife. She asked him if the letter was true, and he confirmed that there had been a relationship. But he said he kept the whole thing secret from his parents after speaking to a lawyer in order to protect his parents. He didn't want them feeling guilty about sending him to the school. He was only approached by the police 2 years ago, and it was then that he told investigators what had happened to him.
Okay, tell me about the cross-examination. He confirmed under cross-examination, did he, that he hadn't told anyone else at the time? Or hadn't told anyone at the time?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the teacher's lawyer, Annabelle Maxwell-Scott, said, that his silence, he told her that his silence had played on his conscience, especially after hearing that 2 other boys had been abused. And the court heard how the teacher has been convicted for sexually abusing 2 other boys at another school. The man also agreed that people came and went from some of the areas that he says the sexual abuse happened, but he said that the teacher was never caught out. He said there had been a meeting with the headmaster, actually, where he was asked directly if there was an inappropriate relationship. The man said the questions from the headmaster were asked in front of his mother in the headmaster's office, and because his mother was there, he strenuously denied those allegations. Yeah, and he continued he agreed with Miss Maxwell-Scott that he continued to visit the home of the teacher, but he said it was this strange mixture of being in a horrible situation but wanting normality. Miss Maxwell-Scott asked if he was ashamed and angry about being a homosexual and if he blamed the teacher for this. The man said that was definitely not the case. He also said it was hard to know how being forced to have sex with an adult for 4.5 years had influenced his life, and he accused the school of turning a blind eye to the abuse.
Close court, Eddie. Thank you for reporting from it. We really appreciate it. Edward Gay, who was sitting in the court for us in Auckland.